On this episode of Roadworthy Rescues, we take on refurbishing a big tractor. Something a little different this week on Roadworthy Rescues. How about a big row crop tractor? This 1978 International 1086. And I've got to drive it over 50 miles back home on the highway. That's great. First time I'm seeing it, let's walk around it, see what it's going to take to get fired up, and start getting some miles down. So the 86 Series International is probably the most iconic international tractor ever made. If you say, draw me a tractor, bam, here it is. This is a 1086 and it was followed by the 1486 and so forth. This makes 146 horsepower out of a 6-cylinder diesel. It's got an 8-speed transmission back there as well. These were made from 76 to 81. This one's a 78. You can tell because of the way that it is, basically. This one doesn't currently have duals. You can run duals on them. But this was your big farm tractor back in the day. You disc, cultivate, seed, hay, whatever. And I plan to pull a big baler with this thing for hay season. The engine looks like it's had some filters on it. Maybe the injector pump has been messed with. We can walk over to the other side, take a peek at it. And then I guess just jump in the cab and see if this thing fires up. No, I'm sure it'll have dead batteries or something. I'll meet you over there. Oh, she's straight piped. This is the way I like them. Oh, look at this. Okay. So we've got a friend along for the ride today. That seems fine. These filters not so fresh. This one's probably 97,000 years old. It's had a charging whirler at some point, but otherwise we've got a lot of a ridge in here. You can see the IH casting on there. I really don't know how many hours this has. We'll try to figure that out though as we continue to look along. Surprised that it has doors on it. Normally the first thing you do on these is take the doors off. That one's locked, security purposes. These are normally mangled off. We still have a step. That's pretty cool. Rear tires are super weather checked. This thing is raw 10. It does have the dually hub though, so that's great. Let's go around back here and check out the business end. Got the business end of the 1086 back here. Big, beefy, fully adjustable 3-point here. Adjustable drawbar on this, side to side, in and out. And it's got a dual PTO. You've got your 540 PTO and your 1000 PTO there as well. And all the hydraulics and everything else here. You can carry up to, I think, 80 gallons on these. There's a primary and some had an auxiliary tank as well. You're going to need that because these are not fuel efficient. If memory serves me correctly, that is correct. Other than that, it's just big red truck. If it ain't red, leave it in the shed, okay? Let's climb in this thing. We got some webs to move. My web deleter 400 here. Yeah. Ooh. Pretty sure that was a cockroach. Oh, it's a massive spider, actually. The seat says low hours. Also, I noticed the shifter isn't snapped off. Normally these break right here because you just have to slam these in the gears. All right. Oh. Yep, very uncomfortable. Okay, our torque amplifier is gone. That didn't do much torque amplification at all. I love these consoles. It was kind of a precursor to what was going to come in the 80s. We got our ether, headlights, ignition, start button, all your basic stuff. Here you've got park, and you've got your high and low range basically in reverse. And then you've got your gear selector, first through fourth over here. And then you've got your hydraulics over on this side over here. This did have, the ACs, but it's been slightly modified ceiling-wise. I'm going to guess that doesn't work. Go ahead and open these up. So now as a tyke, This is where you'd sit. There or here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and see if this thing fires up. We're going to assume it runs. So I'm going to bump it off here. Park. Ah, look at that. Nice. Sounds pretty good. All right, let me crawl it out of the shed. Start getting some miles down. The reason I'm roading this is like a 13,000 pound tractor. I don't have a trailer that's what's bent in half basically, so we're roading it. Shifter handle came off. Okay, see you guys. Well, this is going to be all of today. Unfortunately, the very first thing I have to do is point this straight down a very steep grade. Speaking of which, I should probably check the brakes. They seem to work, and now they're kind of stuck. There we go. So I'm going to choose a gear that I can brake with as well. Steering assist works. Everything is extremely loose and falling off. Hours say 1,479, so it's either 11,000 or 21,000. Maybe 31,000. I don't know. This thing is hammered. It's the cheapest 1086 I could find within 100 miles. One of the reasons I wanted a 1086 as well is I do want to run duals on this because there's a lot of side hills in Tennessee. That'll be hay. And it's nice to have the stability. We're going 17 miles an hour. Ain't wide open. Reason being is these will start bouncing really bad and then get you bucket. And then the front tires are just dangling and it gets super sketchy. So, plus I don't know if this overheats. Nothing. Thirsty, so might as well run in and get something. Boop, boop. Jeep looks small. So our guy just finished up dinner. We got the International 1086 back on the highway. We've got 31 miles back to Vice Grip Garage. Just start making a list tonight of things that need repair, upgraded, updated. Tractor needs a little bit of help, but seems to be running great so far. And it's not getting hot, which is one of my biggest worries. So I guess 2 or 3 more hours of this and we'll be back, hopefully. Oh, some samples. You gotta go around people. I can't go any faster. Oh, speed limit 35. Well, let me slow her down with that. Nope. see that. Now I feel really bad. Check on the allergies. Woo! Shortcut through a neighborhood, I guess. Yeah, I know I look like it, but I'm not UPS. Hey, ladies, settle down. We made it over 50 miles on the road. We made it back to Vice Grip Garage's Southern Tennessee, which is where we're going to be working on the 1086. It runs really, really good, but I still have a lot planned for this thing. That's going to have to wait until tomorrow, because right now I've got to jump on another tractor and hay for the rest of the night. So we'll see you in the morning. Yesterday, I rode this 1978 International 1086 over 50 miles to South Central Tennessee here, where we're going to be sprucing this thing up. Now, this 414 runs great, albeit noisy and leaky and smoky, but that's just normal, right? So for once, I don't think I got to do anything with the engine and transmission or anything else like that. So we're going to put the time and effort into the looks department. And I can tell you the interior in this thing is absolutely trashed after spending an entire day in the thing. The seat's gone, all the foam is gone. There's no accoutrements or anything remotely nice. Not that you have to have that in a tractor, but if it runs good, it should look good. We're going to start with paint, and it would take me weeks to hand sand all these old sun-faded decals and everything off this tractor. So we're bringing in our friends again, and they're going to blast this thing for us really quick. It's going to save us a ton of time. And we're actually going to be painting the exterior of this tractor, and I've even got decals. It's going to look cool. So one of the huge benefits about having this blasted over sanding it is also I don't have to tape off any of the hoses or rubber or plastic. They have a material made of glass that's abrasive enough to get all of this paint and rust and stuff off of the tractor, but it's not going to hurt anything else, and it just falls into the ground and goes away. Making 5x5 brown bales, and I'm using a newer E-Series John Deere tractor. Now, ironically, I have severe outdoor allergies, which, right, growing up on a farm and doing this stuff is not ideal. So this tractor was critical for me with the closed cab and the filter systems and everything that it has, which brings me to a point. There's a lot of pros and cons with new equipment versus old equipment. One of the biggest cons of newer equipment, any farm equipment, is the cost. It's tremendously expensive today, but it's very, very comfortable. You get air conditioning and fancy radio and lights and very accurate digital displays and gauges and things of that nature that can make farming and ranching a lot easier. But in this particular case, as you can probably hear right now, this thing is bogging trying to pull this bale up the hill, which is why some of that older equipment, you just can't beat it. That 1086 has literally twice the horsepower as this tractor, and that's why I need to hook it to this baler. Crawling around the hills of Tennessee, this tractor just is not cutting it. For that, I can use this for running the hay conditioner, It'll do just fine there, and that's when my allergies are worst. And then I can put the brute on and pull the baler up these hills here. Right now I'm just watching the bale monitor, trying to make sure we get a nice round bale. And we're getting close to ejecting one here in just a minute, actually. Guys have been out here blasting for the better part of a day, and it just goes to show you how much time that's actually saving. It would have taken me weeks to hand sand this thing to get ready for paint. Now, not only do we have Tennessee's cheapest 1086, but we're discovering I also own the rustiest 1086 maybe in the nation. The bottoms of the doors, the door latches, the roof, the top of the roof, anywhere where metal touches metal, that joint, there's no joint. So there's going to be a lot of spray foam and silicone and tape and I don't know. It's going to get weird, but it'll have color soon. The only way to close the door on a 1086 is to slam it as hard as you can. But after years and years and years of abuse, this whole latch mechanism was basically just hanging by a thread. So the door was flopping around. So I'm welding in this box again, getting some structure back into the cab, trying to weld through rust and bent up stuff. We're not going to do everything. We're going to do the basics. So even though this whole tractor, particularly the cab, is just a rod box, I couldn't live with the rust in the bottom of the doors. So I'm going to town, putting patch panels in. You got to cut it out, putting in fresh metal in. Grind it down, put this skim of Bondo on it. I'm going to keep messing with that tonight. It's going to be a very long night, but I've got to get this done before we roll it into our blow-up paint booth thing. But soon, we'll have color on this thing. Back on the International 1086, I just finished up some body work on the doors here and the hood. No longer looks like Swiss cheese, which is great. I'm going to stop there. There's a tremendous amount of work that can be done. I've got to make the cab a little bit more water sealed, but we're going to call that good enough. Going to move on to the rear duals. If you ask any tractor owner, their favorite thing is switching tires and adding or removing duals. Said no one ever. It's very physically demanding and extremely dangerous, so I'm very excited to jump in. Now we're going to be doing some tire swap-a-rooney here. We're going to take the inside off. This has got to go down and get replaced. It's chunked, it's weather checked, it's not going to last. And we're going to put a dual on the outside for now so we can wheel this thing into our bouncy house paint booth thing. I don't know what's happening. We got bottle jacks and boards and pry bars galore. Let's see if we can get it done. Right now we're playing Jenga. We got some treated 4x4 posts, and I'm cutting blocks out of it. And we're going to stack blocks, I don't know, 1.5 feet high at least, then jam in a bottle jack, try to not make it lean any direction. Bottle jack it to where we can get this tire hovering, and then try to slide this off without it toppling over. It's going to be a good day. So the reason I'm trying to take the hoop off of the hub and just take the tire and the hoop off instead of the whole wheel or rim assembly is, well, first of all, this dually hub would need to come off. Someone booger welded it. That would need to be ground down. This is the weird wedge and bolt style hub. You got to try to get this bolt out, which relaxes like a wedge that goes in here. And then you have to try to slide this off of the axle shaft. A tremendous amount of work. So instead, I'm going to try to maneuver this hoop off. We're going to temporarily mount a dual on it to move it around, and then when these get wrapped in the rubber, we have to reverse what was done. So this is actually a crew, not the hired farmhands. They're just manhandling it. They got the younger, lower back, it's this, you know what I mean? Okay, let me jack it a little. There we go. Wow. That was too easy. Take it off. Let's do it again. Look, the duals are on, but the insides are gone. Who knew they had disc brakes? They're even drilled. Yeah, sorry about that one. Anyway, now we need to finish sanding the tractor. Yes, we are going to sand at least some of it. Not any of this stuff, but the hood panels and things like that. I got to get a couple panels off. You know, I at least want to get somewhat goodish, okayer paint on it. Just good enough to where we can run it into the tavern again. And looking out the window, it looks great in the parking lot. We got a bunch of rot and rust in here, and I need to fix this right, because we're in Tennessee, it rains a lot, just like today. We don't want moisture getting into the cab. Plan on doing something with the interior. I gotta patch the roof. So, I've talked the crew into helping because there's a lot of metal, so we're using the old international scaffolding system here. Should work fine. Safe. Finished what little body work he's going to do, or I should say want to do. Cab should be pretty sealed up, and boy is that thing insulated now. It's really going to keep the heat in. Great. We're going to go ahead and roll this outside and try to drive it into the bouncy castle you see back there. Hopefully the thing fits and the exhaust pipe doesn't burn a hole in the ceiling, because then it would just... So there's 4 colors that comprise this whole tractor, basically. And I'm going to stick to a traditional look, but I am going to make a couple small changes. A, because that's just the way I want it. And B, I'm lazy, and it'll be easier. So hear me out. We're going to do the red, international red. Everything you see is red. Red, 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 red front wheel. The cab, however, traditionally, the post is white, the roof is white. But right here on this door line, these are actually black. The frame of the door and the frame of the window is black. I'm not going to do that, though, because we'd have to come back and tape a third time. I'm just going to run this line here. The cab will be white. We'll use the textured decal on the back and make sure that that's done correctly. One of the bigger changes you're either going to love or hate is going to be the duals. The hoop was a silver color and the hub was red. Instead of doing that, I'm actually going to paint both wheels, the whole thing, the hoop and the hub, white. Kind of give me some different colors with the cab. And then, of course, you've got the radiator panel up here. This will be white here as well. So those are our main colors. We're going to start with the white, get the cab done, get the wheels sprayed, let that dry, and then we'll come back and blast this red in. And that's when things are really going to start changing. Should be fun. So for paint, the guy's keeping it simple, and we're keeping it cheap, of course. You know me. Keep the billfold closed. We're going to use the Krylon Farm and Implement paint. just a basic white. We've got the reducer for that, and we've got the catalyst, or basically a hardener. We're gonna mix that 3 to 1 to half, and that's gonna be our single stage enamel, essentially, our white color, and we'll have the same product for the red. But the cherry on top, or the chef's kiss, is I'm actually going to add in the Vice Grip Garage white or spray on clear with its activator. We're going to do a 75 to 25 mixture, so 75% enamel with 25% clear, and it's going to give it a really lustrous shine, and it should protect that color very, very well. So let me mix up some batches here. We're going to go in, we're going to use this El Cheapo, no brand name gun, lay down some color. What's the worst that can happen? It's gray right now, right? Laid on, it looks fantastic, although I have to admit I'm not as agile as Billy Goat anymore. I struggled there a minute, but we're waiting for this to dry. Unfortunately, two things are hindering us. One, I laid it on super thick, and the humidity is very, very high. It's actually raining right now, so it's hindering our dry time. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to tape the red tonight. We're going to have to let this dry overnight. Tomorrow morning, first thing, we're going to lay bright red international paint on this tractor. It's going to look awesome. See that? The following morning, getting ready to lay down some red paint on the International 1086. The white looks great. That's all taped off. I've painted a lot of tractors, nothing this big. It's going to be interesting and new. Going to crawl around underneath and do the rear end first, then get into the flat metal. Let's turn this thing red. The tractor is red. It looks fantastic. I can't wait for you guys to see this thing all unwrapped. And I've got decals for it and a full Western interior kit you guys have got to see. It's going to be great. But I put this paint on really, really thick, let's be honest, especially towards the end. The guy was getting a little woozy. We're going to have to let this dry. It's probably going to take all day. So we'll see you, I don't know, see you in a while. We'll get back to work. It's our final day on the 78 International 1086, and what a big project this has been. But look, the paint is dry. It looks fantastic. And Adam, the Tint Master 9000, is here, adding 5% tint to the side windows and back windows of the cab, trying to keep this thing cool. Now, we have a tremendous amount of work. There's panels to go back on, stickers, exhaust, whole bunch of interior pieces, not to mention have to wrestle on the inside tires and put some front tires on. So I've asked the fine folks that help make this TV show to help. Yeah, the guys holding the camera and whatnot. So we're all going to tackle this thing, jump in, try to get this thing done. And hopefully by the end of the day, we'll be dragging around a baler with this thing. I think I see the problem. Might have forgot one bolt. Oh, now we know. The front tires just aren't gonna cut it. One's extremely bald and the other one is mismatched. So I'm gonna go ahead and bust these off and roll on some new rubber for the front here. jack this up, take some measurements from the face of this hub to this wheel, and then we got to bring in the other one, which has 2 options for offset on that wheel, and I think we're going to have to put it on the closest to the outside lip to put the wheel more in to leave room for the dual. I'm really hoping I nail it the first time because these tires aren't exactly light nor easy to move. So I'm actually trying to use tape measures and protractors, and I might have to get a compass or something, but there needs to be precision. Gap in between the duals. Okay, I'll push, you lift. Okay. A little more rotation. There you go. And now, let's let the jack do the work. How are we looking? This pipe ain't gonna cut it. Ha-ha! That. Hey, so we're actually gonna tackle the interior on this because as you can see, it is absolutely thrashed. There's no telling if this is 11,000 hours or 21,000 hours, but it's had all of it. All of the seals are shot, they're broken, they're shattered. There's a bunch of foam that should go on the sides here. There's sound deadening and insulation that should be in the ceiling. There's a lot that's missing or just worn or in terrible shape. So I'm going to spend pretty much all day putting in new weather seals, door seals. I've talked to even the camera guys in the helping figure out the puzzle. We've got like 50 pieces laid on the ground right now. We got to figure out where everything goes in here. But this interior, when we're done, is going to be, I'm going to say it, show quality. So this is the old command center. It's an old 6361-1A. This is a newer one. This is a DC-1A. They're similar-ish. I'm going to plug it in and hope that it works. I don't know if we have to change any wiring, but essentially it'll show you mile per hour, your engine RPM, and then your PTO speed, whether you choose 541,000, and then you can set your exhaust gas temperature alarm, and it'll also give you a coolant warning. So this just slides in the dash over here. It has a big pin connector. I'm going to hook this one up, turn the key on, and hopefully this lights up. I've already verified that we have power on this ribbon connector. So I don't know, we'll just cross our fingers here. Since the guy's going this far with the rig, I figured we might as well make all of the lights work. Yeah, that's right. I voluntarily started working on wiring, and that brought me up to the front here and put in this nice new upper grille assembly, but then quickly realized the bottom grille now doesn't match. A little bit of a rattle can rebuild brought that right back around. I'm an international harvester! after 9,000 did quick work of the 5% tint, so I went ahead and talked him into putting on stickers. It looks great. Once again, I talked the crew into helping. There's so many pieces in here. They just jumped in and started stuffing foam in all the crevasses in here. But wait until you see this interior done. It's not only going to look great, but it's actually going to seal the cab up really good and give us some sound deadening as well. What a transformation this cab has gone through. It looks incredible. It's going to be quieter. It looks great. And it's going to be much more sealed. This thing is far from perfect, but it still is one of the nicer 1086s I've ever seen and one of the nicer I've ever operated. It is pretty slick. Just rough enough around the edges where you're not afraid to use the thing, get it to feel, get it dirty, use the thing, run her wide open to the windshield, but like 20 feet away, used to be proud of it too. I wish my grandpa could see this thing. He operated his entire farm and ranch on 1086s for the most part. We never understood why. They're not really the most comfortable. They're not the most easy shifting, but man, they have just an absolute aggressive classic look. And they're tough. The 414s are an incredible engine. I hope he's smiling down though. That's pretty neat, Deke. That's pretty neat. Now we're going to hook onto a baler. We'll drag that thing around and see how this does compared to that John Deere. Faster than that. It is high too. There we go. A lot more stable with the duals on. You don't get the side to side either with the tractor, which is nice. And it rides really good. The seat still works, which is incredible. There we go. Bring her down. Yeah, see, this isn't even wheezing. Even empty in that John Deere, which is about 75, 80 horse, you'd have to downshift or run her wide out to try to keep 540 PTO. This doesn't even know we're foaming anything. Yeah, sorry, we don't have any actual hay to pick up. I had to scramble and get everything done before about a week of rain hit us. We've been fighting that all week. So I've got everything done. We had a really quick first cut this year. It's actually nice for me. Do a fast turn. Side hill again. Nice and stable. We got a lot left. The 1086, in my opinion, is one of the most iconic tractors ever. Just look at this thing. It looks absolutely incredible, and I think this proves the point. You can have a powerful, comfortable, cool-looking tractor, and you don't have to break the bank and have a huge mortgage to get something new. This thing's gonna do it all. Now, we did have to do a lot of elbow grease. We put new paint on this, albeit just cheap Krylon implement paint with a little bit of Vice Grip Garage Clear, the decal kit, 5% tint of the windows, chrome stack. We put some filters in it, but the engine ran so good. We drove this over 50 miles on the road back here to Vice Grip Garage. One of the big things we did was new rubber. We fought new duals on this thing, inner and outer, and that interior kit, that Western kit, looks absolutely incredible. New seat, new dash decals. We pretty much did everything we could on the inside of this, and now it's comfortable, pulls the baler just perfectly fine. So this ended up being a really nice tractor for not a lot of money, but it's not nice enough a guy can actually use the thing, and that's exactly what I intend on doing. We're gonna put this thing to work. That's gonna do it for this episode of Roadworthy Rescues, but stay tuned. There's plenty more to say.
This time on Roadworthy Rescues, Derek and I are bringing in legend of Van Nuys Boulevard back to life.
Yes! Nail it! This week, a guy's way out in Lompoc, California, where I bought this really cool 1940 Chevrolet Coupe. Now, I really don't know anything about this car other than it's been off the road for probably around 40-ish years. It's got a big block that currently knocks. That's great. And allegedly, this was the terror of Van Nuys back in the day, street racing. Now, this is the first time I'm actually seeing this car in person. I bought it after seeing a couple photographs that a friend sent me. So let's walk around this thing and see what it's going to take to get back running on the street and maybe even racing in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Smells like a sweaty roller skate full of broccoli and dentures. Musty, with just a hint of fungus. I like it, actually. The interior is great. That's done. Check it off. They look like kind of 70s van-looking seats, like the Winnebagos or something. Was orange at one time. Now a very pleasant, kind of tan, cowhide-ish, deerskinish, medium tan brown. Anyway, what do we got? Slide in this puppy. Of course, you gotta have the 3-blade steering wheel. Was chrome. Amperes, oil pressures, and water temps. That's all you need. There's no tack. This guy just shifted by ear, apparently. A whole bunch of lights. We don't know what they do. A bunch of switches. Don't know what they do. It has a key. I believe that's a Ford key, actually. And a fuel gauge thing in the glove box. Oh, speaking of which, we never even saw a fuel cell in the trunk, did we? That's interesting. That's really about it. Oh, here's the shifter. That seems fine. It's a Select-O-Matic 9000. Brakes. Don't worry about that either. So far, no fuel, no battery, no brakes, no shifter. But we have a key. Special Deluxe. Love the chrome and the trim and just the overall shape of these cars. It's beautiful. All right. Okay. There we go. The block of bigs. I finally own gold valve covers. Sweet. Wow, the wiring is very astronautish. I've seen that before in a 70s built drag car I bought, and it was a nightmare. I think the previous owner was an electrician. Looks very much like a fuse panel in a 50s house. Great, wiring's my favorite. Anyway, we've got a 454 in here. It's already got an intake. She's got a Holly on it, double pumper. I mean, it looks like it was probably the real deal. Old Valerie Mark II ignition. Really cool. Fender exit headers. Kind of wrap around the frame and down under. I don't think this is hooked to anything. Whoa, it is not. Kind of limited on what I can do here. It's got a transcooler, auto magical transmission. It's got the original front end and brake system, which is going to be a nightmare because, as you know from me doing 40s, 50s, 30s cars, is the master cylinder is under the floor on the frame. My favorite. Okay, here's what we're going to do. This is clearly a basket case. I've only got a few days to get this thing going. Hot Rod Ranch is actually right down the road. I'm going to call up those guys, see if we could borrow a truck and trailer, haul this down to their shop. And I've got a friend on the way that's going to try to help me put this thing back together on the street. And I might even call him out for a drag race. We've made it to Hot Rod Ranch. They've got tools galore and hot rod parts, so if we get into a pickle, guys should be able to find something around here, maybe do some trading or some bartering. Pretty excited to tear into this. So we've got the coupe pushed back into the Hot Rod Ranch here, and as you can see, it's full of parts and tools. I think we're going to be just fine, but I've only got a few days to get this car back together, so I'm obviously going to need some help, and I needed someone with not only knowledge of hot rod history, but the ability to actually throw some wrenches around, and I somehow roped the one and only Freiberger into helping.
Ta-da! I think this is my fault, isn't it?
This is absolutely your fault. He actually sent me this listing and said, you need this, and I
was right.
Yes. So what do you think of this thing, Freiberger?
I love it. I saw it up here before you bought the thing, and it's just perfect. You know, there's no way you could go better. Van Nuys Boulevard, like 1974, 75 kind of era.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So we're told, and I've heard cell phone video of this engine knocking. So that's probably the first thing we've got to address is figuring out what this engine's going to do or not do.
Okay.
So should we try to get this thing just idling?
Running? Yeah, that's usually my rule. Start the thing first, find the problem. Because what if it's like a flex plate bolt?
Right,
or,
something simple.
You know, a rod hitting a oil pump pickup or something like that.
That would be ideal.
It's a big block Chevy. Nothing can stop me. That's my theory.
That's why he's here.
Yep. All right, let's fire it up.
All right. See if we get this hood off, I guess. Ah, there we go.
That was easy. Lunch. These headers are art. And the T-handles for the valve covers. Oh, it's got the old Mallory distributor. Let's see. Is it like a Unilite? No, it's a dual point. Epic. Love it. I hope that works.
Old Mark II ignition coil.
Here's the thing with dual point distributors. Remember that the coil saturates when the points are closed. And in the old days, guys would keep them closed as long as they could to get as much spark as they could. And when you have a dual point, what happens is they offset each other just a little bit so that they're closed longer and the coil saturates longer. And also it means that each set of points can open about half as much so you can run to higher RPM. So that's what a dual point's all about. Oh, it's also got a torque strap. See the cable around the frame?
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
So a bad motor mount.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh. Look at the radiator cap. Is this the original radiator? That is tiny for a big block. That's going to be a problem. But look at this. It's like vertical.
That is bizarre.
Oh, I know what it is.
It's upside down.
It's sideways.
Or side. Oh, you're right.
Yeah. It's a radiator from another car that's been put in.
Here's the
vertically.
trans cooler lines.
Yep, that's it.
So it has been upgraded.
This is like I built it.
Okay, battery install.
And the bolt's missing, so here's your clamp.
Brothers from another mother. Working with the vice grips. Okay. So far, I think we're off to a really good start here. I got a red light in here.
Something clicked.
Headlights? No way.
Yes, headlights work.
Wow. Okay. That must be ignition then.
Okay.
Push button doesn't do anything.
Yes, it does.
That's the key.
Okay. There we go. That's fuel. Make it go boom.
Okay. Questionable switches or flips. Go again. Hey.
That runs.
Oil pressure. £75 oil pressure. Let's go. So I'm mocking in a temporary fuel system here. We got a clicky-clacky, and we'll just jam that into a drill battery or something. Stab this into some gas. We want to see what this thing does once it warms up a little bit. So we'll put some water in the water heater, maybe even. Let this thing idle for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. And see if we can start troubleshooting the noise that Gil heard. And I've actually heard it over a cell phone video, and it sounded pretty bad. We got to start tracking down if it makes noise and where it's coming from.
Seems good so far. Oh, hear that?
Now I hear it now.
That sounds up top to me.
I just said it almost sounds lifter, doesn't
Yeah. We're just going to quickly pop this valve cover and see if we can find a loose rocker arm. Do any of them push down like the lifter is soft? No.
No. The other thing I'm noticing is the thread reveal is similar.
Yeah.
Usually if one has been worn out and someone's trying to quick fix it, they'll run this nut down to take up that difference.
I don't know how to work this key. You got a manual?
Bump it one more, it came back.
That moved.
It's got great oil pressure. That's not it. We're gonna go with the most hopeful theory is we've got a bad flex plate here. Freiberger's gonna crawl underneath. I'm gonna try to turn this thing over by hand. He's gonna inspect the bolts, all the hardware, make sure they're tight. But what can happen is these are kind of a hub-centric design where they slip over the crank there. And there could be a crack from there up to one of the bolts or from bolt to bolt even. And as it's running or rotating, especially under throttle, they'll flex and move and they'll make a knocking or squeaking or clanking or all sorts of weird noises.
There's no witness mark on the ring gear of grindage. You don't see anything, right?
No, it looks, I don't see anything.
No, nothing touching. And
But it's a stock looking converter, isn't it?
it's way stock. That's a 12-incher. If you give me the listener, I'm ready for you to start it with me down here.
Okay. Going straight to level 5 danger.
Certainly in park, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Chested. Okay, cranking.
I don't hear anything. There it is. I can't hear anything in the bottom end.
It almost sounds like a rattling almost.
Yeah.
Is that cable?
That would be ridiculous.
I mean, that's a similar noise.
It is. There's a torque strap, which is just simply a about 3/8 around cable wrapped around the motor mount. That would be epic. Yeah. Here,
because the motor's shaking.
Yeah. Here, let me wedge it. That would be amazing. Okay, I'm ready.
I don't hear it.
Neither do I.
There it is.
It's not moving.
I don't hear it anymore.
I don't hear it. Right now, it looks like that torque cable was hitting the frame because I moved it. Now we can't hear the problem.
All I hear is valve train now.
Race car.
Fixed.
Fixed.
Yes. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to tag team this thing really quick. We're going to drain the water out of this thing, get the carbon intake off. We got to clean up the heads, the china walls here. We're going to put in some room temperature vulcanization cream, do it right. Get these rubber gaskets out, and that's one big leak back here. And then by then, hopefully it's cool enough, we could drop the oil on this thing, put a new filter in. I think that O-ring is shot. It's leaking there as well. And then we'll fill it back up with fluids again. And we're going to time it. The timing seems to be a little weird on this right now. And it's going to run perfect.
We're reinstalling our vintage Holley Street Dominator intake manifold. This thing is a single plane. I really wanted this engine to have a dual plane on it. Dual planes have longer runners, which make better low-end torque, especially with this, which I'm pretty sure has a stock cam in it. So this isn't the optimum intake manifold, but it's the one we have. We have one bolt hole with really sketchy threads in it. It's about to strip, and the rule is he who owns it wrecks it. So Derek is working on fixing that thread.
Oh, I got it. Oh, no.
You didn't. He just dropped the washer down the distributor hole. How far down the distributor hole? Did it go all the way?
I think I can see it.
Is it on top of the drive shaft?
I think it actually hooped the pump
Hooped the
shaft.
drive shaft? Perfect. We need a magnet.
I did.
You hooped the drive shaft?
Yep.
That is skills. Wow. There's another rule, which is if you're going to drop a washer down inside the engine, you also have to be the car owner. This is like Operation when you were a kid, remember?
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely buzzing it.
In the hole, there's actually a drive shaft that spins the oil pump, and he looped the washer over the drive shaft. That's skills. I'm guessing because it's pulling up on one side, it's wedging the washer in.
It's not even pulling the washer because it wants to magnetize the pump shaft and not the washer. Oh, I found it.
Really?
Right there. So it is
right here?
It's number 7. Yep. I'm an idiot. Listen, we were trying to spice things up today, and might have went a little overboard, but okay, I'm gonna not move.
It's not there.
No! Oh, I found it again.
Okay. If you clear, I can get it. I see it.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, this is gonna be a victory. Wait. Wait.
Yes!
Oh,
Victory! Thanks, Freiberger.
That was pretty good.
Let's tape the distributor hole closed, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. action. See, Derek called me before we set out on this venture and was like, this thing needs a carburetor, what should I get? And I said, the Brawler Full Race 850 CFM double pumper. This is like a lower cost line of higher end carburetors, I guess is the way I put it. They're from Holley. There is a basic version that we probably could have used and likely should have, but this one's black with red blocks on it and anodizing and stuff. And so it's gonna run pretty good. The calibration on these is pretty well spot on.
Oh yeah, this is coming out now. Maybe. I have seen some things, but never a radiator sideways. This is how it should be in a vehicle.
Dum, bum, bum.
Well, it's getting late into the evening. I think we're going to call it a day, but we did do some things today, Freiberger.
Things. Yeah.
We've debunked, maybe, some sort of weird knock rattle thing.
Yeah.
Changed the oil.
Pulled the washer out of the valley.
That was
the highlight of my day. Changed the distributor, got new intake gaskets, new carburetor.
And we heard it run, which is great. We still don't know if it shifts. It definitely doesn't stop, but we'll make that happen soon. So we're going to go water back necks, eat some groceries. We'll see you in the morning. Day 2 here, Freiberger and I are in Lompoc, California at the Hot Rod Ranch, working on the 40 Chevy Coupe. Yesterday, well, we're still daydreaming we fixed a knock, but
yeah,
maybe not. Today, what's the plan, Freiberger?
I think we continue to make the engine run, sort of actually run, like make a fuel system on it, put the radiator back in, hook up the transcooler so it doesn't puke everywhere. We'll cross our fingers that the Turbo 400 works, jack up the back of it, run through the gears, and all of that. If we can make it to the end of the day without touching the brakes, that'd probably be like a nice, happy thing.
We're on the same page. We're procrastinating brakes as much as we possibly can. So, all right, I'll do rad, cooler, lines, and then I guess we'll
do plug wires, throttle linkage, start to mess with the fuel system.
All right. Yay.
Linkage here.
I am engine nerding a couple brackets, handful of them for the rad. I have to try to use the bolt hole provisions in the car, so that may involve actually TIG welding to the radiator. I am a pretty decent MIG welder. I am a terrible TIG welder. So, let's see what happens. Ouch. Ouch. It's gonna work.
My sort of plan on spark plug wires is I always lay them in there and sort of eyeball it, and then I go back and cut and trim each one and make them fit nice. Also, watch how I do the distributor caps. Look how I've got 4 going off this way and 4 going off that way, and I just have to take a couple of wires and loop them, but it just looks way neater.
We think we're done up front. Freiberger has expertly and precisely ran the spark plug wires. Looks very good. Rad's in, carburetor's in. We need fuel delivery. This has a tank in it and some sort of electric pump, but we're just going to completely abandon all of that. That tank is actually under the back seat in this, and the fill neck is over here. We're going to put a fuel cell back here. We've already propped this up with this chunk of pipe that Freiberger found. We're going to drill a hole because it's a sump cell, so the bottom of the tank actually hangs down lower. We're going to bolt that in, run a fuel line out of rust hole down here, run a line up front, plug it in. We should be able to fire this thing back up. Let it idle for a while and just run.
just completed the fuel system as soon as I install this right there with one of the derrick clamps, which is a dislike for me, but I have to admit it is quick. All right, fuel system done. Are we at the point where we can fire it up and let it sit and idle and put it in gear and stuff?
I think so.
I think so.
Add fuel, add some water in the water boiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to immediately dump impurities in your new radiator.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Yep. Fuel pump work. Let me make that a little happier. I don't hear the death rattle yet.
No. Well, load it up now.
Yeah. That's quite a bit. What he's doing is using up gas in the bowl by hitting the squirter a bunch of times so that we can see if the float bowl level has been reduced. If you just let it sit and idle, it takes forever for it to seek its new level.
You can hear it revving up a little bit or faster. That's because it's happier with the mixture, and then he'll bring the idle back down once he gets it more dialed there.
Go in a quarter over there.
Seems like it gets down.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Whoa, yeah.
But that's the normal way.
Right, go the other way.
Now we need to reverse it.
We're thinking we need an electric fan. It's getting hot idling here in the shop.
Okay, reversing motor. Finger remover.
Yeah.
Take one.
Luke, I am your father. Ah!
There's blades in there. Oh no! Go tape that off.
Oh, that one's a bleeder.
I was going to mount this up front, but the more I'm looking at it, I think I might actually put it on the firewall, because one's got to go to switched ignition right below it. One's got to go just right here to the alternator. One's got to go to the temp sender, and then just one will come up here to the fan, and we'll ground the fan up here somewhere backwards, because we're going to spin the motor in reverse so that it pushes instead of pulls. Okay, we've got temp gauge in here. That Freiberger expertly zip tied to the center. We're ready to fire it up again and try the gears once more. All right, clear? Starts great. Yeah. Reverse.
Reverse.
Neutral. Drive.
Yep, you got forward.
The great news is we've got a runner, we've got gears. It's staying cool. The fan hasn't even kicked on, hasn't needed to. Good enough. The bad news is this means we'll probably have to work on brakes now at some point.
But that's an us tomorrow problem.
Yeah. We're at the Hot Rod Ranch still in Lompoc, California, where just a few days ago this Chevy was sitting in a lean-to shed. It's been off the road for, I don't know, decades. We have it running, we have it moving, but we got a problem. We have no brakes, Freiberger.
Yeah, and this is day 3 of avoiding that job. The master cylinder on this thing is under the floorboards, which is just a nightmare. And I didn't realize that the clutch and brake pedal pivot went through the master cylinder, too.
Yeah, which is seized currently. So this is going to be a chore. So I'm going to start poking at this if you want to maybe see what's under the front wheels as far as hardware, if there's even wheel cylinders in there or what.
Oh! Just put that anywhere.
Yeah, that's off.
I got the drum off, and look, this thing has the original ball-bearing wheel bearings in it. It is not a tapered roller. It's old school. Brakes are all here. You know, when you get these old cars that have been sitting around a while, sometimes you'll pull a drum and there'll be no guts in it. But this has stuff.
It's pretty good.
It's unique.
So what I'm going to do is actually fill the master cylinder, which you do through the floor, and just pray that somehow, after 80 years plus, this is going to still move fluid. Yeah, there's juice coming out of it. Want me to hold this while you
Yep.
see what happens? Yep,
Yep.
moved.
Yepper.
We have the Freiburger luck, apparently.
If it doesn't blow all the cylinders out.
You tight again?
Yep, go. That junk works.
Hey, a different tire and wheel. These already have new tires on them, and essentially I'm just going to borrow these for this week. We're going to get these bolted on, and then we can get back to bleeding the rear brakes. Might look at the rear end, pop the cover off. It's a one-legger right now. Might have to fix that. Okay, go ahead.
Pumping. 1, 2, 3, 4. We already have so much pedal.
Okay, that concludes our bleeding session.
And pedal for days. Wow.
Nice. That's a big win. So under the rear of the 40 Coupe here, going to be addressing the rear end. We know from running it earlier that it's a peg leg, or only one tire gets power at a time. So doing burnouts is going to be not good. So I'm going to take off the differential cover here, get a look at the gears in here. We can hopefully figure out what gear ratio it is. It's probably like a highway gear, like a 308 or something like that. Hopefully not. And then we're going to do what's called a Lincoln locker. I am just going to simply weld up all of the spider gears in here so that when we ramrod this thing, both tires are going to be getting power at the same time. And it should help our launches if we're going to be doing any sort of drag racing or doing burnouts and stuff. Bam! Poor man's posse, thanks to Lincoln.
Derek's in the back making a soccer ball of weld out of the rear end as he suffers from the impression that this thing will have the power to spin both tires. Meanwhile, I've been assigned to install the shifter, which is incongruously billet for this car, and also has a rear cable entry, which is going to make this a little bit of a challenge. But we're going to hideously mount this right here and reach for it as we shift. And then I'll run the cable through the floor and attach the end of that cable to the transmission, and we will have shifting for the Turbo 400 that likely doesn't work. We haven't found that out yet. First, second, third, neutral, reverse, park.
Okay. I just had to keep these wheels. You know, we were kind of fighting the same thing in the front, but I couldn't get a wide enough tire to go on this 10-inch wide wheel. And Freiburger was kind enough to loan me his ET drags off the General Mayhem. We got them mounted on that same wheel, of course. Just going to throw it up here and look for fitment. This has been pretty gnarled up and stuff like that. These are slightly bigger than the tires that were on here, so I just want to see what this is going to say, and so far it is saying not going to fit. Yeah, that's an issue. little bit of wrenching, this car is ready to hit the road after sitting off of it for decades. I think we can actually maybe find a beach or the ocean from here. Let's go see what we can find.
It's moving!
Oh, it pulls so hard.
Yeah, that's brake adjustment, I believe. Pretty amazing.
Second gear.
Yeah. Come on, try the brakes. Wow!
Livable.
We can adjust that brake if we were ambitious.
Nothing smoking or on fire?
That's true. And the rat smell is not excessive, not overheating. It's 140. Even the headlights work on this thing. I'm actually jealous now.
After many years off the road, it's back.
So good.
This thing is staying cool, it's shifting. I mean,
Braking.
there's a lot of things I like about this car that actually don't make sense. For example, we came here fully expecting to rebuild this engine.
Totally.
I still can't believe it was just a cable. Or if it is knocking, we can't hear it.
Which is fine with me.
Yeah, that's great.
Ignorance is bliss.
We got open headers. That fixes everything. We just threw a new carb on this. Radiator, cooling fan, not much. Welded up the rear.
Yeah.
We didn't have to do a lot.
Yeah, low effort, big win. The thing really drives nice.
And we really can't do anything to the exterior. This is about perfection at this point. So it's going to stay looking just like this. But now that we know it's street drives, should we see if it could have potentially raced back in the day? Do it again?
Do it again? I knew
Yes.
this was coming. I'm thinking my 56 Chevy is the unit.
Okay, they would look rad together
It would
for
look
sure.
really good.
Nice.
So I'm thinking we can put together maybe a 500-foot drag race. It's not going to be full on, but
That's probably all this has in it.
Yep.
We'll just line them up. Can you drive us there? I don't know how to get there.
oh yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
sweet. All right, we're going to go race the 56 Chevy, the field car, versus the 40 Coupe. See what happens. We're here at Santa Maria Airport in the back 40, where we've got some room to play around and race. What do you got here, Freiberger?
Well, this is the 56 Chevy known as the field car. It's been on both Roadkill and Roadkill Garage. Right now, it's loaded with a 406 small block, makes 570 horsepower. It'll run to 7,000 RPM. American powertrain 6-speed and a Ford 9-inch with, I think it's got 456s in it. So I'm ready to break parts.
So you're saying there's a chance I can win? No.
You know there is, because I'm going to annihilate the tires on this unprepped surface. And we know this thing hooks up because it's gutless. So you'll be in the wind and I'll be back here making smoke.
Oh, that's my only hope. We'll see what happens. If we got just enough room, I might be able to hit second gear. It's going to be great. Well, let's line them up. We'll just do a heads up, see what happens, and maybe you'll let me take a hit or something after that.
Oh, for sure.
Destroy me.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Good luck. You're going to need it. This is more like street racing back in the day than drag racing.
Traction killed me.
Oh, wow. You blow the tires off? Yeah. Ah, you got me. Ooh, I smell brakes.
I spun the tires really hard, but then drove past them at the top end. That was so cool. That was a riot. That was also 7,500 RPM of tire spin. Wow, that was cool. He also treated me pretty bad.
Wins in the field car. Oh, that's awesome. Yes! Oh, it was so good. Freiberger, you annihilated me. That was brutal.
You know, I was thinking about it, and I did. The thing is, both of these cars are wicked cool. Mine just has a lot of more destruction potential.
Right. There's a lot of violence going on there. It was fun, though. I got you one time when you blew the tires off.
Yeah, completely. But that drag race where I spun the tires hard and came past you, that was just like so two-lane blacktop, so American graffiti. I loved it.
It was incredible. I was screaming the whole way. My face hurts from smiling. You know, it lost the race, but just a few days ago, I was sitting in a shed. It's been off the road for years. We got so lucky on this car, the engine not actually being blown up. We didn't really have to do that much.
No, it was easy. I had a great time, and we've benched raced a lot about how we can make his car more violent.
Yeah, I think so. Well, thanks for all the help this week. It's been incredible. And that's going to do it for this episode of Roadworthy Rescues, but stay tuned. There's plenty more to save. Let's go cruise these things, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
'Cause it's too cold for you here and now, so let me hold both your hands in the holes of my sweater. And all I am is a man. I want the world in my hands. I hate the beach, but I stand in California with my toes in the sand. Use the sleeves of my sweater. Let's have an adventure. Head in the clouds, but my gravity's centered. Touch my neck and I'll touch yours. You in those little high-waisted shorts. Oh, she knows what I think about and what I think about. One love, two mouths. One love, one house. No shirt, no blouse. Just us to find out. Nothing that I wouldn't want to tell you about. No, 'cause it's too cold for you here and now. silent skies of mine to move to a place so far away, yeah. The goosebumps start to race the minute that my left hand meets your waist. And then I watch your face, put my finger on your tongue cause you love the taste, yeah. These hearts adore everyone, the other beats hard as fall. Inside this place is warm, outside it starts to pour. Coming down, one love, 2 miles, one love, one house. No shirt, no blouse, just us to find out. Nothing that I wouldn't wanna tell you about, no, no, no. Cause it's too cold for you here and now, so let me hold both your hands in the holes of my sweater.
Roadworthy Rescues, the 1961 Pontiac Bonneville is back. Affectionately nicknamed the Barneville, this car's got a really cool story, but unfortunately it ended up being a parts car. I did thrash for a few days, we got the engine in and a turbo 350 swap, but it's time to officially get it running and once again, roadworthy. But first, I had to call a tow. Sketchy. And I have no brakes and I'm about to buy my neighbor a fence. Great. Woo! Oh, barely missed it. Last time on Roadworthy Rescues, we found the 61 Bonneville in a barn up by Detroit, Michigan, and we thrashed on this thing, but unfortunately didn't get it back on the road. The engine was just kind of topsy-turvy laying in there. It wasn't even connected to anything. The transmission was junk. Now it's actually bolted in with a turbo 350, but we ran out of time. That's as far as we got. Now it's back, and I'm bound and determined to get this thing running, and I think that's where I'm going to start. We've got a big list on the windshield here. And each one of those is a big project, but we've got to get this engine running, making some noise. We've got electrical to do, fuel, carburation, exhaust, linkages, that cooling system. I mean, there's a big, big list. So let's get this hood off and dig in. You're going to have to move, Daryl. I got to get the hood off. Come on. Yeah. Why are you so fat? Lavender and basil mix. There's centipedes rolling out of here. Snake. I thought I saw a kangaroo. We got mice. We have an ecosystem in the back of the Barneville. So this is where we would normally start with the project on the show, is kind of just a bare engine sitting in here. I got to get this hood off to get a little bit more room. We've got to do everything. We've got to wire this. We have to do ignition. We have to do a carburetor and fuel and all that stuff to make it happen. So I'm going to get this hood off and out of the way. We're going to start plumbing up some fuel and ignition. I think that's where I'm going to start. Watch the paint. So I'm just just soaking up the fond memories of working on this Pontiac, and remembered that the bolt snapped off in the intake here. So before I start bolting on accoutrements and whatnots, I've got to fix this first, because this bolt is very, very important. There's a little gasket that goes between the water pump and the intake, and without these two being pulled together, that undoubtedly will leak, and we'll have coolant everywhere and eventually overheat. And maybe we'll lock the motor up. Oh, wait. Do we fix it? Fuel Make It Happener is on. That maybe might work. I'm actually going to swap these valve covers out. We've got some cheap chrome ones because A, we want to add horsepower, and B, we want to get home. That's off. Once I get that in, I'm going to put the cap, rotor, lightning hoses in, start dressing up some of the wiring. And then I got to move on to things like fuel pump. I need to add a oil pressure line to the standoff over there, get an oil filter in this thing. I don't even know if there's oil in it. Probably look at that. And just keep slowly start adding accessories back onto this thing. Looks like a Go Boy mechanic worked on this last, because they marked the #1 post on the old lightning whirler. Oh, that was me. So, guy up top, we got some stuff done. We got the Fuel Make It Happener in, added some horsepower with the chrome valve covers, got the lightning hoses back on, distributor cap, everything like that, got a fuel pump jabbed in it, and started thinking, hey, we get too far ahead of ourselves here, we still can't fire this thing up because we ain't got no music pipes hanging off this. No manifold, headers, nothing. The headers don't fit. They're shorty headers, and we started looking around for different header options. And here's the deal. We got this adapter plate to run this Turbo 350 transmission. So it's got this additional plate and a bigger starter specific to that adapter. And I'm not seeing anything that's going to fit between the steering gearbox, the frame, and the motor transmission. So now we're kind of looking for stock manifolds again. And keep in mind, we only had one. And we might have pitched it after the last episode because we didn't think we'd need a stock manifold again. We are down a river with 2 canoes on that. So I'm diverting my attention to this transmission cross member, which I just booger welded in here with a 120 volt welder. I need to get a polyurethane bushing in here. I'm going to get this dialed in so at least this is 100%. Drop the car back down and then get back to the rest of it. I needed something with a bend in it. Well, I actually had another one laying around in stock here at Vice Grip Garage. It was too short lengthwise, so I cut up some things. We're going to couple it together, use some of the existing parts, and make our own. One part that we're going to need is the actual pad that welds to the cross member and bolts to the bushing of the transmission. So believe it or not, I'm in CAD. It's about the only computer thing I know how to operate, believe it or not. And I'm just going to draw up a template really quick, click a button. This is going to laser it out, and then we'll go over there, stick weld it in, and boom, transmission stuff done. And then we are officially right back to where we left off, whenever that was. Day 2 back on the Barnaville here. We got parts and things to do. I'm going to leave it up in the air and just start attacking this underside. I'm trying to get this car running and driving after being stored in a barn for at least 10 years, probably way more than that. It was a parts car, but no longer. So now I'm kind of just attacking this fuel tank. This thing's got to come down. I'm sure it's full of rust and rot, varnish and everything else, and the lines are just completely shot. I think we might have a new tank. Hopefully that's similar or the same, hopefully exact. And then we'll have to inspect the solid line that runs all the way to the front. If you remember, the brake lines are completely rotted out of this thing, and the fuel line runs right next to that brake line. So if one's rotted, the other one maybe isn't. Okay, new fuel tank and sending unit is in. Redid all the wiring and the soft rubber line here. So this is 100%. We should have a nice clean fuel system. I'm gonna go up front. We're gonna try to find some torque converter bolts, Loctite those, get the transmission officially complete and mated to the engine. And then hopefully by then the drive shaft is here. We're pretty well done under here other than an exhaust system, but we need something to hook it to. We may potentially have an awesome fan of Vice Grip Garage YouTube driving them from South Carolina, I think, and we really need those. Hey, look what we got. David and Kaylee drove all the way from South Carolina, about a 6-hour drive to bring these things. This came off a 62 or 63?
62 Pontiac Catalina.
Nice. And this is what we need, especially on the driver's side. See how that comes out the center? We have our steering gearbox right here and our starter back here. And this is an absolute lifesaver. So thank you so much, man.
No problem.
You saved my bacon big time with these. So we're back at the shop. Let me show you really quick why this manifold is so important. We slide this up here. The exhaust exits right where my arm is, essentially. And we need that because of the position of the starter for our conversion plate thing over here as well. It's going to be really tight, but that kind of sounds like a Chad problem. So I'm going to struggle, get these bolted up and ready so he can walk in and hook some pipes up. Feels like I've done this 15 times. Okay. Oh, nice. Our cold base slipped right in. Looks like this is bent up from pulling the engine. I gotta flare that out a little. But the good news is this fits. I think it's the first thing that actually just went in. Yes. Here's our beautiful drive shaft. Rocket City makes these for me. They do a really good job. They shortened it up, balanced it again for us. So let's knock this in, get it bolted up. You just think about it. A seemingly stock car is going to have custom cross member, custom motor mounts, custom transmission cross member, custom transmission adapted, custom drive shaft, custom brakes, but it's going to look like a $600 parts car. I like it. I really do. Hoses are in top and bottom, got a battery in here, new negative or sad cable and a positive. They're both red, but I at least wrapped paper on one. Was getting ready to dump some fresh dinosaur juice in this, but there's some left in it. I didn't drain it when we were out, wherever that was, Detroit or whatever. So I'm gonna lift this up in the air, get the old oil out, put a fresh filter in, put some fresh oil in this thing. I already got the temperature gauge in here. We are inching closer, maybe firing this thing up and hearing it run, at least for a few seconds, because it's open manifold. Well, it's been a good day, a productive day here on the old Barnaville. Getting ready to fire this thing off, just have to top off the transmission here. I got my Lone Wolf 6000 over there. We're gonna pull the trigger. Now remember, we only heard this sputter for just a second or two. I hope to get this fired up and running for at least a minute. We can verify it's not knocking, it builds oil pressure, things of that nature. Gonna apply my key. That should give us hot ignition. Give it a couple shots of fuel. Here we go. Bring in the thunder. It's not bringing it. There's definitely no thunder. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, back to basics. We need spark, compression, valve timing, and fuel. There was compression. That's sparking, and now there's exhaust coming out of there. That's way too much fuel, so something should happen. It's alive! Well, 62% of it. That sounds really terrible, and it's running on 4. Great. We've accomplished our goal. We've heard it run once again. So since it runs so terrible, I'm going to get some rest, and tomorrow we're going to put in disc brakes and the full exhaust system. So I'm going to start by getting this in the air, get the tires and wheels off, strip the front end all the way down to just the spindle, and then build it back with bearings, seals, discs, caliper, pads, lines, everything, and do as much as I can to be in the way of Chad, who's going to be putting music pipes in this thing, a nice classic car mellow sound. So some of you might be wondering, Derek, you mentioned this is a parts car multiple times, and yet you're putting a lot of work into this thing, obviously. And here's why. Every car has a story, and that's my favorite thing about vehicles. It's not necessarily the make or model. It's the history and where it came from and how we found it. And if you remember Beth, this was her daddy's car. And he always had a dream to put this car together and fix it up. And unfortunately, we lost him way too soon, and it ended up sitting in the barn there. So what I'm trying to do is just fulfill his dream and get this thing put back together, get it on the road, get it running and driving. But I'm also trying to do it for the average guy. We're not going crazy with parts, as you can see with the engine and everything else, but we want to make some small upgrades to make it reliable and safe, hence the aluminum radiator and disc brakes in the front and some of those things like that. And for me, the payoff getting this on the road is worth every single minute of sweat and cuts and bruises and French words and things of that nature. Speaking of cussing, Chad is here. So instead of hauling the rig to Cookeville, Tennessee, thankfully I talked Chad from Volunteer Muffler and Performance coming down to our shop, save us a bunch of time. And he's going to lick out exhaust on this thing. And we're kind of thinking dual straight out the back like it had originally, right?
That'll be perfect.
And then maybe, we talked about doing like a Porter, what are they, like a steel packed muffler or something?
They're
like
steel
that.
pack muffler.
Yeah, so that'll give us that like 60s kind of vintage sound. It'll get a little bit of rumble, but it's going to be not crazy like a traditional glass pack. So that, I think that'd be pretty good. And cross member that I spent a bunch of time on might be not so good for exhaust. I wasn't thinking about that. So I'm going to leave him to his vices and let him figure it out, tear it out, go around it. I don't know. That's why he's here.
You know, it is not bad. I have seen way worse on high-dollar cars. I've got to get a little too close to the floorboard, or it's got to hang down so low they can plow with it. It did come from a farm, though. That might be helpful.
Chad, his brain works different. He's got like an auto level protractor compass thing in his brain where he can just look at things, go to the machine, bend it, and it just... I'd be on my 13th stick with marker and tape measures and angles and...
I have ruined a lot of pop in my life.
So we're using a kit from MP Brakes, and the reason I mention that is this is a kit that lets you leave the stock spindle in place. Most kits, you got to take this whole thing apart, which means you're into the ball joints and everything, which I guess is fine if you're doing like a complete restoration, but we want to save time and money, and this is how we can do that. It looks like, I've never used this before, but flipping through the constructions here, we got some brackets we're going to put on here, and that is going to mount our new caliper to this. We'll slide our disc on with new bearings. It has a bearing adapter that's going to go on here after we put it in the oven. And we should have essentially all new, but then the fun part, we got to run lines. Remember all the lines I put in for the drum brake system? Just kidding. We're going to take that out. This car back so Chad can fit the exhaust pipe around the rear axle without cutting it. And I don't have wheels on it. So I'm going to try to move it on the air jack. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Is that all you got? I think that's it. Let's see what happens. Margaritas and Misadventures, Volume 3. Chad's whipping right along here on the exhaust system. One of the many things Volunteer Muffler in Cookeville does that's different than most shops is a lot of them will put these hangers on and just tack weld them on and just hack them right off there, and they usually get loose, break, or fail. These guys bend these all the way around, and then they weld it all the way around the pipe, and if it's hanging under the pipe, like up here by the muffler, they'll actually go around the pipe and support it better, and it just creates a better, long-lasting exhaust system. I think he's just got to eyeball this, hack these off, get the tips on, and he's done. That's it for the exhaust. Now we just have to make it run good later. We're going to move on to finishing up the brakes, and we'll meet in the middle somewhere in the cab, I guess. Well, since Chad is here, I'm going to have him help me with the shifter. I'm in the vehicle. He's going to lift me up. I'm going to basically just jam this on the floor, bolt it down, drill a hole, jam the shifter cable through there, and with any luck, he'll grab it and hook it to the transmission. We got this really sweet air box in here that's kind of prohibiting going too far forward. I don't know, it might be a little not ideal, but nonetheless, it's better than this thing that's doing nothing. Okay. On this episode of Roadworthy Rescues, we make a really nice Bonneville. Give it a twist, like counterclockwise. There you go. Big thank you to Chad. He had to head back to his day job, but we got the shifter in. I want to move on to the brake booster and master cylinder in here, and then we've got a portioning valve of sorts that needs to go in as well. Get that done, then we'll come back to brakes. Oh, look at all the water and juice that came out. All right. Oh! Did I go in? Late last night, guy worked on brake lines, got some ran, and guess what we're doing today? More brakes. We're gonna mount up the calipers on here, bam! Discolator brakes, gotta run some rubber hoses here, connect everything, and then start the very fun process of bleeding. We're gonna try to incorporate the rear drums as well into this master cylinder, get everything bled out, pump. Gotta hook up the pedal still inside. It's a whole different throw and booster and all the parts, so it's going to be kind of challenging to get everything set up, but it's going to be really nice to have an upgraded brake system where this thing will have kind of a little bit of go, but a whole lot of whoa. The crew has had enough watching me suffer, so they're jumping in and helping. We're in a bit of a time crunch here, which I'll explain later. We're not going to lose the shop, but we're going to lose an opportunity if we don't hurry and get this done. Condenser's got to come out so we can get the electric fan in. We've got belts on here now. Power steering might work. The generator might work, but it's not wired yet. I am bleeding the brakes with homemade tubey doobies. Bench bleeding right in the car, guys. Save a step. And then hook up the lines. I'll have to bleed the calipers, bleed the rear wheel cylinders. We're cleaning up some hoses and stuff we don't need. We removed the old AC unit gently. After this, I got to figure out wiring for the fan. We got a big relay that's got to go in for that. And I also have to start wiring like the generator. I've got to wire in a switch that'll actually start this thing. We're getting after it. Things are happening. This is a wiring harness out of whatever vehicle this came out of. And I just cut that off because I'm going to graft this into the dash harness and or run all of these lines newly in the car. We got battery. Purple is always start on Buick, Olds, Pontiac, Cadillac, BOPC. Ignition, the black stripe with pink for like coil. Brown is going to be like accessories, which we need for 12 volt for a fan. But I'm just kind of going through this, trying to figure it all out. pedal and cable assembly, gonna have to mock up something there too. It's gonna be completely custom because we don't have all the linkages and levers and doodads anymore. We're working on getting carpet in right now, and it's a great time to get a new pedal assembly in here while the seat is out. The old one, which I'll probably just grab quick, is mounted to the floor. Rocks off the bottom. It's a heel one. And then there was a bunch of linkages that we don't have anymore. So I'm going to mount this to the firewall. And when you press the pedal, it's going to pull a cable, which will pull a fuel make it happener, and it'll make engine noises. For the first time, and make sure we got some water in the water heater. Go left, go right machine needs some juice. Make sure the head gaskets are going to gasket, things of that nature. Electric choke's working. All the smoke coming out of here is all the new paint we got on the engine, the new gaskets. We've got oil and grease from my hands. That should all burn off here relatively soon. Nope, a couple hours. Electric fan should be kicking on, yes, at some point. And then we're ready to hit the road. Well, it was another very late night on the Bonneville, but progress was had, and I'm starting to see the locomotive in the tunnel with a light or whatever that saying is. Patched up some rust last night, just took a sheet of 16 gauge, made my own patch panel, Fox tinted that in. Also decided to paint the steel wheels. Everyone has primered wheels, and everyone has black wheels, so let's be a little bit different. We used that paint code that O'Reilly scanned for us, came up with some rattle cans, fogged them down as well. I'm going to mount them on the car, roll this thing outside, and I'm going to SOS this, wash it down, clean it, get all the chrome and stainless as clean as possible, shine juice this thing, get the hood on, and I think we're finally there. By the way, we just ran it for quite a while. Didn't get hot. Electric fan worked. A couple transmission leaks, had to tighten some fittings. I think we're A-OK and good to go. I'm excited to drive this thing. Let's get it back together. I don't know what kind of look this is going to give it. I know one thing, it's going to be different. And just wait, I got something else to add here. There's more. Just let us get it washed first. What I assume is the original bumper on the 62. It's a great shape. It doesn't have a lot of dents and stuff like that, but it's stained and really, really dirty. I'm not even sure what this is. It's like sulfur and barn dirt, and I'm not sure. But a quick trip to get it off is Quad Zero steel wool, and I like the ones with the soap in them. You find them in your kitchen aisle at the grocery store. Get them damp and just come in here and start scrubbing, and this is going to do wonders to this bumper. In fact, I'll do half, leave the other half alone, and you can take a look at it with your own eyeballs. something with the body of this car. I wish we had more time to do just even primer or something, but we're out of it. We're going to do the next best thing. Now, there's not a lot of paint left on this car. We've got some of the original primer, some of the paint, some of the respray, different colored panels, even some new bare metal when I Fox tinted in a quarter panel over there. So we're going to seal that rust and paint with the Vice Grip Garage Shine Juice. This is oil-based. It's kind of a temporary solution to seal everything in, and we can make up our mind what we're going to do with this thing later, or someone else can, right? So all we have to do is just dump a little bit in this, about like that. Dip any sort of applicator or rag, and we simply wipe it on. It's going to give us a nice matte or satin finish, and we can wipe it on literally everything on this car, and it's going to protect it and give it a shine. That's crazy. This never gets old. Idea what to do with this car, but the first thing we have to do is go shake this thing down, and there's nothing better than some back roads of Tennessee, some curves, some twisting hills, and all that stuff. So let's go jam this thing on the highway, go for a cruise, see what it's going to do or not do. So we've got the Bonneville back on the road for the first time in more than a decade, probably significantly more than that. And this is my favorite part. It's so much work. And really, it's the same car. It's just elbow grease and time. But it's so rewarding to get them back on the road. And I know that's what Don would have wanted, which is Beth's dad. This was his car. He wanted to put this car together and just make it run and drive and have fun with it and ultimately restore it. And unfortunately, didn't have the time to do so. And it rides great. I didn't touch the shocks or anything like that, and just as is. Steers great, rides great. The Turbo 350 was needed. The 61 engine we just reused seems to be doing okay. It's got a little bit of a miss to it, but it just needs some miles. You take a car, you don't have to pour $1 million into the thing. Just get it running and on the road. Who cares what other people think about it or say about it? It's not too far gone. You can restore it a little bit at a time, over time, and that's exactly what Roadworthy Rescues is about. And speaking of which, this has got to go to a new home. I can't keep them all. Someone has got to take the torch and carry it forward and see that this car gets the rest of the love that it deserves. And I've got an idea for that home. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Did you have a safe trip?
I did.
Well, what do you think?
Oh my gosh. You even fixed the rust.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
That looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it sounds amazing.
It actually runs a lot better today, yes. So,
today.
Boy, this was a lot of work. I wish we could have done more, but we just didn't have the time.
I think you did an amazing job in the time that you had.
So if you remember Beth, this is actually who we got the car from, and this was her daddy's car. We actually pulled it out of your barn. Had been sitting there for a long, long time.
Yes.
I'm humbled and honored that we got the opportunity to go through the thing and get it running. And it started with the engine your dad put in. It's the same engine, but we updated it to a more modern Turbo 350. So it's a 3-speed automatic, so you don't have to worry about reliability issues or parts or anything like that.
Wonderful.
Custom drive shaft. The suspension's pretty much all the same, but we did upgrade the brakes. You have disc brakes in this thing now.
Very nice.
It's safe, it stops. The exterior, obviously, we just cleaned it up. We put some Vice Grip Garage Shine Juice on it to seal it in. New tires, steel wheels, We had the paint match. That's the paint coat out of the trunk.
Is it?
So all that matched in. Brand new dual exhaust system on the thing, new fuel tank, sending unit. So much we did, actually.
You've done a lot of work.
Interior, we cleaned it. It's got carpet.
Look at that. Oh my gosh.
It's got gauges
Beautiful.
that work. We put the shifter on the floor instead of the column shifter.
Okay.
This one's a lot of fun. You can either put it in drive or you can slam shift it if you want to get a little bit rowdy. Cleaned up the original seats. I love the bowling ball shirt kind of design on these seats, so we just kept all of those. Cleaned up the stainless. And it's worth mentioning, I didn't do all this work. The team really jumped in on this. There was so much. The guys behind the cameras, the sound dude, everyone was in on this thing.
Very great team, yes.
Yeah. And it's a lot of fun to drive. You want me to pop the hood? Okay.
Yeah, let's look at what's under the hood.
Okay. So your dad found this engine. It was out of a 61, right?
Yeah. 61 Bonneville. Same make, just different year. Wow.
So cleaned it up a little bit. We had to find manifolds. They came from South Carolina. A guy actually drove them through the night to get here.
Oh my gosh.
Put the manifolds on for the exhaust system. Threw some chrome on here. Have a new carburetor on here for you. It's got electric choke. Aluminum radiator to keep it clean. And then we put an electric fan on there as well. But it does the thing now.
It does the thing, what it's supposed to do.
We didn't really know what we were up against in Michigan. So we kind of ran out of time a little bit. But
I didn't know what you were up against either. I did not.
Yeah. Okay, Beth, here's the thing.
Yes.
The reason I do Roadworthy Rescues and Vice Grip Garage is I take cars that some people deem as just junk or trash or a parts car, which this really was a parts car, I'm going to be honest. It was in a pretty frail state, but I like to get them on the road, give them a second lease on life, pass them off to somebody that can grab the torch and do something with it. And with this car, I can't see it going anywhere other than you. So I'm going to give it back to you.
Are you really?
You
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thank
bet.
you.
Here's the key. It's yours.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful thing to do.
Our pleasure. Jump in. There we go.
There.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, she sounds so good.
So after all those years looking at it in the barn, cleaned up, running, driving, you want to go for a cruise?
Oh, I would love to.
You're in Tennessee. We got a cruise,
Oh,
right?
yes, I would love to.
All right, slide over. I'll take you on some cool roads.
Okay, let's do that.
Beth's got the 62 back. Man, it just feels great to give. And this is a perfect example. You just got to get these things running, give them a chance, give them opportunity, and she'll do something cool with us.
I will.
Keep it updated. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode, but stay tuned. There's plenty more to say.